Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about everything to do with labour, delivery and postpartum. So if you're not into knowing too much about the whole process, this video might not be for you. Some women have C-section, or some of us do it naturally. Some last 2 hours all the way to 72 hours and then some. And then there's so many complications that actually could arise. Every birth process is different. I was in hospital from the Sunday to the Thursday, and I was in 16 hours of active labour. I had a episiotomy and a perineal hematoma. I also had assisted delivery in the form of forceps, and it was all worth it because I got a beautiful baby boy in the end. Hold off. Stay at home for as long as you can, because you'll end up going to the hospital, and if you're not dilated enough, they'll send you home. Going back and forth, it isn't really ideal. So stay at home for as long as you can, plus it's much more comfy in your own home. The sweep. It's a circular motion of fingers in the cervix that help the body stimulate natural hormones in order to produce contractions. Now, no one actually told me how painful this would actually be. So definitely ask your midwife or obstetrician for gas and air. You're gonna need it. When I tell you, you're gonna need it. Snacks. I love food. So the idea of being in pain and hungry, that didn't work for me. You're gonna wanna pack something in your hospital bag that's high in energy and also very hydrating. So my personal favorites were brown bread, peanut butter sandwiches, and Gatorade. Keep on top of your labor, guys, because certain medications can't be given once you've actually passed the dilation window. I had gas in it, and that was available to me all throughout the labour. I also had pethidine, which is an injection that is given in your buttocks, and that actually can't be given once you're too close to pushing because it affects the baby's breathing. Pethidine can be good and bad because it made me extremely forgetful, and I guess that was kind of a good thing because I didn't actually want to remember the entire pain process of the labour, but it was kind of bad because somewhere in between my whole forgetfulness, my husband said I asked the doctors for an epidural. I woke up to him singing Road Trip and the doctors putting a needle in my back. And I was so confused because I actually don't remember asking for an epidural. Okay guys, we're at the famous stage of pushing. So by the time I got to the pushing phase, my baby's heart rate had dropped so much and so fast that the midwife woke me up from my nap and said, we actually have to get this baby out now. They turned on all the lights. It was like, spotlight is on my... Okay, and there was so many people in the room. I thought it was only gonna be 2. Little was I wrong. Okay, so spotlights on Mike and legs are cock up. Okay, I've been pushing for 2 hours now and I'm becoming extremely tired. First of all, I didn't even know what I was pushing because I had an epidural, and epidurals actually take away from the feeling of pushing. So I was just like, I didn't actually know what I was doing, but I was praying and hoping I didn't actually push something else out the other hole. All the pushing I thought I was doing wasn't working. And the midwife was like, assisted delivery, a whole other team came in the room. That means more people seeing my... Listen, at this point, try and hold on to any dignity you can hold on to. So cover your boobs or something. I don't know. Cover your face, cover your boobs, cover your arm. I don't know. Or just let it all go. Because I had more people in the room and the light was still on, shining bright, legs still up still, okay? And they were like forceps. And I had done research before this, and I was actually telling them to cut me. Personally, I didn't want to rip. So I would rather they actually cut me and then sew it back up nicely than me ripping and it being 2nd degree or 3rd degree rip, which I can't deal with that. Forceps around the baby's head. Bearing in mind, this is still in my female bits. These spoon-like objects with a head in my bits. So that's something to consider. And they pulled him out and Master Benya. Oh, so you thought the baby was the last thing to come out of there? Nah, you've still got to deliver your placenta. It can take anything from immediately to 10 minutes to coming out an hour or hours later. I personally didn't want to wait any longer and I opted for the injection of hormones and I said, listen, get this placenta out. I already had stitches. I was in pain. Just let's skip this phase. I just want to sleep now. So you've just pushed that baby out. You might be covered in blood, amniotic fluid, poop, urine, and you need a shower. I thought, I've just had an epidural. That's a needle into the spine. I conquered that. I just pushed the baby out. I conquered that. I thought, I am Superwoman. Surely taking a shower would be the easiest thing that I had to do next. No one actually said, depending on how much blood you actually lost, you'd be lightheaded. So I got into the shower, the midwife offered me some help, and I said, no, it's fine, I'll do this on my own. Well, I collapsed twice. Not once, twice. Even after the first time I collapsed, I still didn't take the help. And that's more people rushing into a shower room, and this time, I'm butt naked. So if I thought I had a problem about seeing my before, listen, they saw everything. I'm covered in blood, water's everywhere because it's like a shower room. There's blood, water everywhere. I'm just on the floor. There's like 6 people in the room and a wheelchair. Listen, my dignity said, see you later, because you didn't want to keep me. And I'm looking at my husband like, you really ain't covered me over. Ladies, let us pray, okay? We want to ask for the strength so that you can get through your postpartum healing. You're going to have stitches, hematomas, hemorrhoids, soreness, tightness. You can't sit, you can't poop, you're scared to pee, you can't walk. There is so much drama with it. Oh. So before I went to the hospital, I made some padsicles. I made those using aloe vera, witch hazel, and lavender oil. I put those all into a heavy duty pad, which is one of the overnight ones, folded it back up nicely, put it back in the wrapper, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I put it in the bottom shelf of my freezer. So every time I try to use the toilet, I'd keep this mix as something I would sit in afterwards. And it was Epsom salt, lavender oil, witch hazel, and Earth Mama tea bags. And I would put it all into this. It's a sitz bath. And I got this for $8. And it's about £5. And it was really helpful. It actually fits into the toilet. So after you lift up the men's bit and you put it on the toilet and then you close the men's bit back down and you sit in it and you use warm water, and it actually feels so good. I had stitches there as well, so it was all so helpful and so healing afterwards. After that, I would pat dry it nicely with a really soft towel. You don't want to wipe because that's too much pain. And once you've left the hospital, there's no good medication available to you but basics. So after I would pat dry it, I would then put a layer of aloe vera gel onto the actual stitches, and then I would get my padsicle, which was nice and cold in the freezer, and I'd put it on, and life just felt like I wasn't in it for a moment, and I could forget about all the pain I was suffering. You also want to have an orthopedic seat cushion ring thing. It's called a hemorrhoid cushion, I believe, but when you put it like that, it doesn't sound too nice. So let's call it orthopedic cushion. And you want to carry that everywhere with you. You want to get a big enough bag that it fits into, because you're going to need it. When you're in the car, you're going to need it. When you're watching TV, you're going to need it. In restaurants, they all don't have that soft cushion that your sofa might have. You're going to need it. You're going to need it everywhere, because you actually cannot sit. You'll actually be sitting down and you'll be like, and you actually look so awkward. So after like 2 weeks of suffering, I did some research and I asked a few other mamas, and they said to get this cushion. I got the cushion and it was the best thing I had ever got. It was so helpful, especially when I started driving again. If you're breastfeeding, you're gonna wanna massage those nipples around 34 weeks. When you're 34 weeks pregnant, you wanna massage them. Like, stretch them out a little bit, get them used to actually having someone suck on them regularly. Okay, having someone suck on them for food purposes. And that will be like 10-minute feeds at a time. Could be longer feeds depending on how long your baby feeds, or shorter feeds. So you want to massage those nipples with coconut oil. I don't know about anyone else, but when it came to breastfeeding, I'd get in the shower. It would also be a milk shower. I get in the bath, milk bath. I couldn't wear any underwire bras. I'd have to constantly rotate boobs, because if I fed him on only one boob, the other one would be huge. So it's like trying to remember which boob did I actually feed him on. So that's something to actually write down, or download an app that can actually help you memorize these things. And compresses, you're gonna want a hot compress and a cold compress, because when your milk comes through, it is so painful. This is just me. So painful. It felt like someone was pushing a tiny little needle maker from the back of my chest through my nipple. That's how it felt. So you're gonna wanna rub your boob under a hot tap and then dip it in cold water. Hot tap, dip it in cold water. And that was a method my grandmother actually taught me, and it was so helpful. Last but not least, your belly. You've just given birth to your beautiful baby and you're thinking, why hasn't my belly gone down? It's okay. Not everyone's belly goes down immediately, and you're still very much going to look pregnant after you've given birth, and it might take a few weeks or a few months depending on your situation. I had an abdominal hernia as well as diastasis recti, so I definitely had my own challenges I had to overcome when trying to get my figure back. I opted for wearing a girdle for 12 hours a day, and I also didn't do anything that was too strenuous on my abdomen, and I didn't really go back to working out as much as I did before I was pregnant. You're probably thinking, wow, that was a lot to go through. Well, not every birth is the same. Some women have it easier than other women, and definitely some births can be, the first baby can be different and the second baby can be different. So you never really know what you're gonna get. But all I can tell you is I would definitely do it again. Hopefully my video has helped you. I'm wishing you a great labor and a safe delivery. And remember, everyone can do it. So stay focused, stay patient, and stay positive. It will happen.